Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is your JRPG Report, episode 202, coming at you a day late. We've had all kinds of craziness and some sickness going on here in the Fisher household, but everyone is okay. We are simply dealing with what everyone has been dealing with for the past 2 years, and not to go into too many details. The wife is a little sick at the moment, so we're helping out as much as we can. But everybody is actually doing okay, and we'll get through this as we all have. But you didn't come here to listen to me ramble on about why the podcast is a day later than when it's used. You know, we always try to have these things come out on Thursdays, but it's Friday, so let's talk about some good old JRPGs. And February is shaping up to be a pretty big month. Obviously gets things started today, actually, with the release of Pokemon Legends Arceus. I've heard it actually, I've been pronouncing it that way for the longest time. And then there's been a bunch of commercials actually popped on TV, and they are saying Arceus. So how do you describe it? It's out today. I'm sure a bunch of you have gotten your hands on it and are playing it perhaps right now as you're listening to the podcast and doing some leveling up or whatever you like to do. But February, we've got our lead game for this week, Monark. We got Atelier Sophie 2, and I'm missing one, aren't I? It has completely escaped my mind. You're probably screaming out at me right now, but there's a few coming out. Obviously, Triangle Strategy coming out in March. Stranger in Paradise, or of Paradise, right? What is? Of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origin game. So there's lots of things coming out. We'll talk about a few of those on today's podcast, but I figured let's start with Monarch, and you now have the ability to check it out for yourself. It's certainly been a game that I've been a little bit on the fence about. I think a lot of you may be feeling the same way. There was certainly a segment of the population that as soon as they saw this thing, they were in, right? It didn't matter. It had all the right vibes. Former Shin Megami Tensei staff working a new studio, trying to put this thing together, and but it's certainly one of those games like you wouldn't mind trying it out before buying it. And you can now do that as NIS America has released a free demo for Monarch. You can download it via the Nintendo eShop or the PSN store. Now, sorry, PC owners, although the game is coming out on February the 25th in America and the 25th in Europe, at least as of today, and as far as I know, there is not a demo available for PC players. Sorry, don't yell at me. Not on me. But the demo will allow you to play through the game's first chapter, and progress can be carried over to the full game when it launches next month. That is always a plus in my book. Of course, the game is coming out for PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC via Steam. There was a trailer. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, you are seeing it right now. A demo trailer. They say, could you face yourself and the threats around you to save the ones you love? Shin Makato Academy is engulfed in a madness-inducing mist, and only you can save everyone inside. Test your skill and play through Chapter 1. Then continue your story in the full game by transferring your demo save data. Like I said, that's always a cool thing. I think it's a good thing. Let's say the video also gives you an idea of what's going on. Players are surrounded, of course, by the school has actually got this giant barrier around it, which is putting this mist in it. The strange mist is due to pact bearers. You'll need to solve puzzles around the school, retain your sanity, customize fiends, and fight against the people behind the trouble. The strategic turn-based battle system is briefly showcased. That's probably what I would want to try to get in the most and try to see how it works out. The initial feedback is a bit mixed. I'll be fair with it. I think people are really digging what they thought they would as far as vibes go with this game and the tone and everything. The game is less than a month away from release, so I don't think they're going to be able to really fine-tune anything. This thing's got to be as close to going gold as possible. But at least some of the initial responses to it from like our dear friend Michael, he said it might need a little more polish. And this kind of being a first new game, you might expect something like that. But he said there's lots of promise in this title, and maybe get past some of the rough edges. It could be certainly a gem, but he's still planning on picking it up even after playing the demo. So it's not like he was off put by it, but check it out for yourself. That's obviously a PC player. Sorry, but if you got a Switch or PS4 or PS5, you can check that demo out right now and kind of see for yourself. That's always the best way to do it, right? Talked about the other game coming out here very shortly in February, Atelier Sophie 2. There was some information that came out about it, some new videos. There's an extensive preview from our friends over at Siliconia, and I did share that on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and it's lengthy. Obviously, it's not something that I'm going to sit here and read, but it's a very good long preview. So if not quite sure about this one, maybe you liked the first one but didn't love it, want to know what enhancements were made to this, how the Ryza effect is going to play into this one, I would definitely recommend that you check out that rather long preview. But in terms of the game itself, there was a new video that came out for it. It was a story trailer, and when it first came out, the story broke, but there was no trailer. So that was a bit interesting, to say the least. But they finally did get that up on there. So the one of the big draws of this system, it's not quite the Ryza turn-based but fast action system. This is strictly turn-based, but it's not slow. You can certainly make it into what you would like to do that. The game flow, one thing is really cool is the battle system begins instantaneously without load times or separate screens, allowing gameplay to flow seamlessly between exploration and combat. That's always been a thing people have struggled with, or games have struggled with. It's much easier to go to a battle screen, and in some aspects it does break it up and make it different, but I'd like to see how this is implemented. In this new battle system, up to 6 party members can join forces for multi-linked turn-based battles. The party members will be split into 2 teams, an assault team, which consists of 3 members in the front, and a backup team, which features 3 members in the back. I like that idea. I really do. One of the abilities of this new combat system is twin actions. Here, the front and back rows can choose to attack together, or have the front row make their move first while the back row recovers and charges up. This ability uses less MP than performing the attacks separately, offering the chance for players to inflict more damage to their foes in battle. Alternatively, players can use the support guard action that allows a member of the back row to protect a member of the front row when they are being attacked. Since the members in the front row and back rows can be switched freely, it's important to keep track of each member's HP and use these abilities at the right time. In order to use the twin actions and support guard abilities, technical points, or TP, are required. When the dual gauge reaches 100%, dual triggers a special move where 2 party members launch a powerful ability together can be triggered to get an upper hand. Love it. Really like that idea. It sounds a bit like Suikoden 3, where they were basically a team, and to be completely honest, that's the only Suikoden that I personally didn't care for. However, this one seems like they used it more in a more smart fashion. Let's put it that way. Let's see how it plays out. Now, some of the enemies that Sophie and her companions encounter will be covered in an aura, and these monsters will be more difficult to inflict damage upon, deal larger amounts of damage to the party. By attacking the monster's aura with an element that's weak against, however, the aura will be reduced and stun the monster, allowing Sophie and her friends to perform more actions in a row than usual. In some battles, weather control can also be used to battle or create favorable situations and weaken the aura. So, I'm sure you've seen plenty of media about this game so far, and I don't know if this was like a final trailer. We'll hear about that momentarily, but it certainly seems like it could be one of the final ones to come out before this game launches on February the 25th for the Switch, PS4, and PC via Steam. If you are looking to drop a few extra dollars on this game, if you're all in, there are digital deluxe editions as well as a season pass. For those who pre-order the digital edition before February 23rd, you'll receive 2 special costumes. The digital deluxe edition will come with a total of 6 swimsuits, 1 for each character. This digital deluxe edition will cost about $85. The digital deluxe edition with season pass combo will cost $128, and that season pass will include all those things plus all the feature content. Most of the games here recently have had a decent amount of additional content. The season pass would have saved you quite a bit of money as opposed to buying them separately. So there you go. Not sure if it's definitely worth it or not, but it is something to keep in mind if you're looking to spend a few extra dollars and you would really like to pick this game up. One last Atelier note. Not sure if this will affect the Western version of this game or not. We talked last year about Atelier Online, The Alchemist Bressler, or however, Bressler. I'm not sure how you say the name. It's a weird word to say this. It, I guess, didn't go over that well, at least in Japan, because it will end service in Japan on March the 31st. So that was not a long time for it to be out and going on. Bolt Trend Games, the North American and European publisher of the game, has yet to announce an end of service for those regions, but kind of feel like that's going to happen. I can't imagine a game like this being canceled in Japan and not being canceled worldwide. I checked it out momentarily. It didn't seem all that grand, so I can kind of see why it was chosen to get the axe. But if you play it and you're enjoying it, it did say, at least for the Japanese version, there will not be an offline version of the game. So I'll keep you posted if they make that announcement as well. But if you're enjoying it, that's certainly some sad news. If you've not already, don't forget to give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, JRPG Report. You'll get a video version of this podcast each week with all the images and videos that we talk about here on the podcast, all in one convenient place. I've got 2 main sources of information on a week-to-week basis. Obviously, Gametsu is a bedrock of information. As Sal does a great job over there. It's usually where I get most of it. So Konya covers the same things, but they do some more fringe type things and dive deeper into things. Another site I've been getting a lot of good information on, and follow them on Twitter as well if you don't already, is rpgsite.net. And in particular, they got 2 stories on triangle strategy that the other sources actually did not cover. This was yesterday. There was a bunch of screenshots, artwork, and information dropped about the game, including the game's story, cast of characters, gameplay systems, and more. We've kind of covered the story a little bit before, and so I won't go into all that, but in particular, one thing you'll definitely want to check out the links that I put on there, because all the images, so many images of all the characters for the game. I think they're up to 27 now. Is that right? There's a lot. There's a lot more characters than I thought were going to be in this. It's shaping up to be quite a detailed game, and I love the art for it. I think it's fantastic. But you'll want to check out that link if you want to read about all these characters and the story that's going on with it. Now, there was a new trailer that popped up for it yesterday as well. This is the third character story trailer for Benedict Pascal. He's a member of the House Wolfert War Council. There's been 2 previous ones for Frederica and Roland. Now, this is the third trailer, but they've all been in Japanese. It's a bit of a problem if you don't speak Japanese, obviously. This game comes out on March the 4th, a simultaneous worldwide launch for the Switch. So it's been a little odd, the lack of English trailers that have come out for it. The other piece of information I gained from our new friends over at RPG site was they finally translated and put out an English version of the second character trailer a month afterwards. That's highly unusual, to say the least, especially from somebody like Square Enix doing this. Nintendo, who was doing the publishing for this game, they did this and put it on their YouTube channel. So you won't find this on the Square Enix YouTube channel. This is only on the Nintendo one. So I guess they're doing all the heavy lifting and getting this thing out for the rest of the world. So yeah, I shared that piece of information as well. So if you'd like to see it and get a listen for some of the English voices and how, actually read what's going on some of the images and the gameplay, you can now do that. So I'm hoping they get this thing kind of turned around. There's been more than a couple ideas around that they're not really pushing this game the way they should. Maybe that's a product of Nintendo publishing it, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they do a pretty good job in pushing stuff out. Maybe it's just not quite close enough, and they're going to really hit this thing hard here in the next month or so. I don't know, but game is shaping up to be fantastic. There's a lot of people that are saying this is their most anticipated title for 2022. It'd be hard to argue against that when you see this thing in action, but definitely you want to check out those trailers and the links for all the information. If you've been really looking forward to this game, I highly encourage you to dive deep into all of that. Like I mentioned, out today is Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm just going to go with how the commercial says it. Might as well. They released the final trailer for it as it is the day that is released. There, you can get a quick look at that and how it's looking. I think now I don't pay for cable. Maybe you do, and that's fine if you do that. So we watch a lot of the Samsung has the free channels that are on there. They're internet channels. They're nothing spectacular, but there's for free. It's in full high definition. I'm not going to argue with it, but there was a point where there's 4 different Arceus commercials, and they played them back to back to back to back. It's like, okay, I'm not sure if that's what you want to do, if that's going to make people want to buy your product or not, but hey, it's out there and available right now, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I say the words final trailer kind of in tongue-in-cheek because maybe a few hours before that, there was the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin final trailer. This detailed the Kraken-like equipment upgrades, advanced jobs, and more details, talking about the 4 Fiends of Chaos and how they've been re-envisioned for this game, published by Square Enix and developed by Team Ninja. The final trailer came out, and a few hours later, there was a new battle trailer that came out. I was like, how can you call something the final trailer and then publish something a few hours later, another trailer? I don't think you know what the word final means. You might want to look into that. I still don't know what to make of this game. I probably need to check out the demo and just see if it's completely insane or if it's something that's actually worth playing. The JRPG lover in me says, hey, it's Final Fantasy. It's kind of a remake of part one or a retelling or whatever it's supposed to be. And then like the person that just focuses on the Team Ninja action battle part of it says, this game looks insane and I don't know if it's something I want to play or not. But that's why there's a demo. Check it out. But you can see that final trailer and the other not final trailer and then all the images that went along with it. The game looks really pretty. That has always been something that Square has really excelled at, is obviously how good they can make games look, and Team Ninja adding to that as well. Keep in mind this is, especially on YouTube, this is an age-restricted trailer, so you might want to keep the little ones away from them. I don't know if it's got its final rating yet, but I would almost assume it's going to be mature. If YouTube's already slapping age restrictions on their videos, I'd have to imagine that. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is due out for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC via the Epic's Game Store on March the 18th. Let me know what you think about it. Is it too weird, or is it right up your alley and it's something we need to check out? Hyperdimension Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters got a new 2-minute battle gameplay trailer. Just came out a few hours ago. So you can check out. Why don't you take a look at that if you're watching this on YouTube? And I will just invite you, if you've not already. We did put out a Sunday special for the soundtrack for Dragon Quest VIII. And just putting that together reminded me how amazing that soundtrack really was, and it just brought me right back to all those countless hours I put into that game. The 3 times that I played it. Maybe it's time for a 4th. I don't know. We are working on the next Sunday special. Me and Jake have been trying to iron out. It seems like we've been trying to do this for a couple weeks now, and just can't quite put a time together that works for the both of us. Obviously, it's been mostly on me and my obligations, and now new problems going on here that are keeping that from happening. But it's coming. We're not quite sure exactly what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be a little more fun. Just us talking about JRPGs, what we've been playing. We'll go back and forth, a few main ideas tossed about. But as soon as we get that actually recorded and put together, I'll let you know when that one is coming. That'll be, like I've said before, we're doing 2 a month, doing at least 2 a month. But try to do one conversational, one talking with one of you guys, and then one soundtrack. So not sure what that next soundtrack is going to be either, but yeah, the next one will be me and Jake talking JRPGs. Always a fun time when he comes on the podcast. If you are an NIS Classics fan, if you enjoyed that first collection, Volume 1 they put together, and are looking forward to Volume 2, at least it has a release date now, and that is going to be March the 10th in North America. Not March. Excuse me. May. May the 10th in North America, and May 13th in Europe, and it includes 2 crazy names for games: Makai Kingdom Reclaimed and Rebound, and ZHP, Unlosing Ranger versus Dark Death Evil Man. 2 classic titles. If there ever was one, you get both of those in there. If you kind of curious about these games, you're seeing the trailer play for them right now. Back after 10 plus years, 2 action-packed RPG classics are making their first explosive entrances since their decade-plus debut. New content is included in the Makai Kingdom version, and with both English and Japanese autos. audio included in those. In Mackay Kingdom, Lord Zeta, Master of Tactical Warfare, aims to invade and reclaim the Netherworld as a book. Utilize clever strategies and powerful magic, along with deadly weapons ranging from broadswords to rocket launchers, to take control of your enemy's land. Also, summon your army through the invite system, tear up the battlefield with new characters, and dive into PETA mode for a whole new story. In ZHP, Unlosing Ranger versus Dark Death Evil Man, your character is custom made to kick as many enemies to the curb as you want. Use the deep customization system to outfit your ranger from head to toe. Establish your own base and fight your way through an array of randomly generated maps to forge your own heroic story. So, there you go. Sounds like these are going to be some pretty cool games. It's coming for Switch and PC. No word yet on PlayStation, but yeah, as far as we know, just PC via Steam and the Nintendo Switch. Again, that's coming on May the 10th in North America, May 13th in Europe. If you were waiting a little bit for that PC version of Nosia, is that how you say that? Nosia? Gnosia. It is now available for Steam for $24.99. Publishers Playism and developer Petit Depato announced it will support English, Japanese, and simplified Chinese. This one came out on the Switch a while ago, but it is available now on PC. There was a new trailer that came out for Relayer. That was one of the ones coming out here fairly soon. It's new worldwide release date of March the 24th of 2022. This was dubbed the Characters trailer, and you meet the faces that are behind those mechs fighting each other in space. It's a 5-minute trailer introducing the game's characters. The game will feature a load of language options and is due out for PS5 and PS4 on March the 24th. Again, lots of good media for this game. Not my cup of tea, but does look like it's going to be a pretty nice thing to check out if you've been craving some Gundam-esque space mech battles. That'll fit the bill for you. Capcom, they're bringing back the Origin armor set to Monster Hunter Rise. Players can craft the layered armor set by completing the new a good old-fashioned Rampage event quest. Now, this event quest is only available for the Nintendo Switch version of the game. So this was the original, or one of the original armors in the first Monster Hunter game. There's been various iterations of it over the years, but yeah, if you've been playing with that armor set for a long time and can't wait to see it come back, well, it's coming. Coming soon. Sega announced a Sin Chronicle broadcast that will air on February the 2nd of 2022. The broadcast will cover various gameplay elements, including a multiplayer mode. It will include information about the main scenario as well. As of right now, I believe it's just in Japanese. So, is that what I said? Yeah. Well, yes, it's just in Japanese. There's no English subtitle option on it, so you might want to wait and see what's translated if you don't speak pretty fluent Japanese on it. I'm pretty excited about this announcement. I'm a big fan of the Good Smile, especially the U.S. store. Their company, Good Smile Company, puts out some really good figures. Well, their pop-up parade line is value priced and more in my price range. I can handle those. They are coming out with, in addition to the previously released Joker and Crow figures of Persona 5, new figures are coming of Oracle and Queen. Yep, that's right. They are coming. Best Girl Makoto will be there. These are in their Phantom Thieves outfits, hence the Queen and Oracle names. The pop-up parade prices, like I said, they're very nice. They're only at $38.99 each. Each figure will stand about 17 centimeters high, or about 6.7 inches. They are not to scale, which, okay, that's not really meant a ton to me. You're seeing some of the images as I'm speaking about this on the YouTube version. They look pretty cool. There's not going to be articulation to these figures. That's kind of why they're a little more value-based. Yeah, I think they look very good. The only, let me go ahead and tell you this. They're available for pre-order now until February the 17th. They have a quick turnaround on these. I think they're saying they're supposed to come out in August or September. Something like that. Yeah, I'm not seeing the date here in the article, but I did actually go on to Good Smile US's website and attempt to pre-order these. I'm going to wait just a little bit because if you're like me, and maybe you're kind of a stickler for not wanting to pay too much for things, or just you have a figure in mind, so let's just round these up to $40 each, right? That sounds about right. You say, hey, I'll pay $40 for a figure. That's really not that bad at all. But then you got tax. Oh, taxes. Got a love-hate relationship with that, don't you? So that bumps up the price. And their shipping is a little higher than I care for, especially if these are, it's the Good Smile US's store, so I'm assuming these are not coming from overseas. And yeah, maybe I'm spoiled. I pay every month on Amazon Prime rather than paying for shipping. So when they told me it was going to be $15 each to ship them, why wouldn't you just put them in the same thing? They're coming out at the same time, save, yada, yada, yada. That bumps that price up quite a bit. So you go from originally expecting $40 each for a price, and now you're checking out and it's $115. That's a little bit of sticker shock. It's a little bit harder to convince your significant other the higher that price goes up. So I'm just going to wait a little while and see if we can't convince it. But they look like great figures. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to throw out my little shipping rant there before we got too much into it. But yeah, I'm excited about these figures, and hopefully they'll do the rest of Venom Thieves here in short order. 2 quick stories to wrap up the podcast, and then we'll do it for 202. We've been talking for a little bit about Bravely Default Brilliant Lights, the mobile offering of the Bravely Default series. It is available right now. Actually came out yesterday in Japan. Still no word on a US or worldwide release, sorry to say. They also uploaded the opening movie for the game. Looks quite beautiful. It's a 3D cinematic featuring several important characters that will appear in the mobile game. This includes one of the new Warriors of Light, Claire. The video shows the fairy Lumina praying before the four elemental crystals. Before the four elemental crystals appear, it then shifts to a large city with a windmill. Claire is shown reading before she's interrupted by what appears to be a crystal fragment colliding with her lamp. The fragments then fade out of view and coalesce against a strange structure. These areas and characters are significant to the story and will appear in the mobile game. This, of course, has 4 new Warriors of Light in it, but does have familiar characters such as Tiz, Agnes, Edia, and Ringabel. They will appear as obtainable party members. It will, of course, feature that Bravely Default battle system, and players will even be able to engage in cooperative battles with one another. As soon as I hear anything about this thing coming west, I will let you know. Of all the games that started on consoles and then made their way to mobile platforms, this looks to be by far the most faithful, as they were able to pretty much recreate that battle system. Obviously, it doesn't have the controller interface to go along with it, but in terms of gameplay, it looks pretty identical. And that is a good thing. We kind of teased this a little bit in those New Year messages for 2022. One, I forget the individual that spoke about it, but was one to know the new project that was coming up from Yasunori Masuda. And he has teased a new project reveal coming in February of 22, possibly multiple announcements. It is unconfirmed whether it will be a video game or something music related. This is significant because this is he has worked obviously on the Chrono series as well as Xenogears and the mobile title Another Eden, as well as Final Fantasy 15, Episode Ignis, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Quite a resume, and it'll be interesting to see if he's, obviously if it's something for anime or something, that would be cool, but it'd be really nice to see him do some more awesome work in video games. Quick rant of the week. It's, as we've gotten more and more modern games, they've definitely got at least a little bit easier in some aspects. I'm convinced that Final Fantasy X does not want me to beat it. I kind of ran through it a little bit just to enjoy the game. Got to the final boss, and I'm having issues. I'm a little under-leveled, so I've been needing to do some grinding, need to get some more abilities to make that final fight at least achievable. And it doesn't even want me to do that. So I'm trying to level up in the Omega Ruins, and as anyone who's played this game before knows, and I documented previously, you can die at any point in time. And it'll be game over before you even know it. Not even just from the Great Marlboros, but any enemy can confuse you and turn you to stone, and just a whole multitude of things can go wrong. I think I lost about an hour of grinding the other night. Just random enemies pop up and you're dead. So maybe by next week I'll have 10 finished and can move on to the next one. It's one of those deals like I've beat the game 3 times. Do I need to beat it again? Yeah, I think I do. I gotta. now it's bothering me that I haven't. So wanted to share that fun story. I'm sure you guys have gone through episodes like that a time or two, but it doesn't seem to pop up as much as it used to. This game's 20 years old, so that was still a thing back then. It's certainly not auto-saving every 5 seconds, so you can't lose your progress. But that's going to do it for episode 202. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you hear, don't forget, please consider heading over to Patreon, searching for JRPG Report, or you can find the link directly below, either on YouTube or in the notes to this podcast. We'd be happy if you join the 10 or so other awesome individuals that support this podcast financially. Keeps the lights on and keeps us motivated to want to keep putting out awesome products each and every week. My name is James Fisher. This is going to sign us off for episode 202. Until then, get back out there and level up.